Giovanni Buttarelli says the Facebook data scandal is an important test for regulators. He is the European Data Protection Supervisor. Last week, he met with officials at the White House and the FTC to discuss it. The director joins me now from Brussels. Sir, thank you. You must have been very relieved, grateful, pleased, you can choose the adjective, for the fact that Facebook is going to use European standards for the rest of the world.
Who knows? This is what we expect. 50 days to go for the entry into full implementation of the new regulation, which will be applicable from Europe to everybody offering goods and services remotely to the EU or profiling people. And this is the case for Facebook, for search engines. But let me say that Cambridge Analytica and Facebook is just a peak of an iceberg. You said 87 million. Who knows? I'm expecting much more news. We all 29 data protection authorities in the EU are coordinating, cooperating, sharing information, analysis, because we want to speak with one voice. And by next week, we will, in a plenary, make a state of play
Director,
on the case.
Please bear with me, stay with me. We need to go to the United Nations, where the US ambassador is speaking.
Of conducting state-sponsored assassinations, including previously in the United Kingdom. High-ranking Russian officials have themselves made clear in public statements that defectors and so-called traitors are legitimate targets for assassination. Yesterday, Russia tried to get the OPCW to adopt a decision that would have undermined its ongoing independent investigation into the Salisbury attack, and that would have helped Russia to disguise its culpability. The members of the OPCW Executive Council overwhelmingly rejected Russia's proposal. Now, Russia wants to try again at the Security Council, but the truth of Russia's involvement in the Salisbury attack remains, and the international community should remain united behind this truth. Once again, as Ambassador Haley said, if we do not change course now on chemical weapons, we will be fast approaching a new and far more dangerous reality for all of us. We must hold those who have used chemical weapons accountable and rebuild the global consensus that these weapons must never be used under any circumstances. As the Security Council, that is the goal we should be working to achieve, rather than using this chamber to undermine the truth. Thank you.
Doy las gracias a la representante de los Estados Unidos por su declaración. Y le doy la palabra
and I now give the floor to the representative of Ethiopia.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, our position on the use of chemical weapons is well known, and we had an opportunity to reiterate that position yesterday, 1 year after the Khan Shikun chemical.
Right, so there we'll leave the United Nations. We'll have Lise Lambert a little bit later in the programme to give some analysis on exactly what the US has said and how far the US position is towards that of the UK. Let's return to Giovanni Buttarelli, who, on the question of the Facebook data. We'll also talk about Russia and the use of hacking in just a moment, because I think that's also relevant. But when the new European rules come into effect in just a few weeks' time, every company doing business with an EU citizen pretty much will be affected. Do you believe that the new European standard will become the global standard?
We would like indeed to lead by example. And let me say that the US at federal level is in a splendid isolation, because currently 121 countries around the world are now equipped by a modern set of provisions dealing not only with the historical right to privacy, but to data protection. They have privacy engineers, data scientists. So it's a preventional discipline which would like to deal with respect to the way in which we manage our entire life via smartphones, tablets, and computers.
And to those who say that the new European rules, I mean, it's a bit academic since they're coming in, they're very extensive. In some cases, people say they are overkill. They do have personal privacy protection at their core, but others also say it's a box-ticking exercise.
We have a constitutional duty in the Lisbon Treaties to protect the newly established fundamental right to the protection of personal data, which goes beyond the traditional sphere of privacy. We are not falling in love with over-prescriptive rules. Question is on how we may reinforce data subjects' rights, ensure more transparency, allow them to be better in control, and to have a free and informed choice. That's the challenge for the future.
To be clear on this, Director, you are saying tonight that Cambridge Analytica, we don't know the full extent of, you think it could be much greater, and you believe there will be many more such occasions.
This is what I said a couple of weeks ago, exactly when we were in front of the first round of rumors, and 2 weeks after, my assumption is consolidated. So with other colleagues in the EU, we see that many organizations are involved, political parties, other apps developers, and this is a longer and endless story. It started in 2008, and therefore we believe that other data firms are to be interested. The issue is systemic. It's not a data breach. It's not a data leak or, let's say, a violation of contractual clauses. This is the predominant business model. That's the issue.
Sir, thank you. We're grateful that you gave us time, and we're very glad to have you on the programme. Please come back again, sir.